A recent official Helium Discord announcement has been made regarding critical changes to the Helium network that will directly impact miner earnings. The updates made have decreased the daily beaconing frequency from 3 to 4 and lowered the witness per beacon from 18 to 14. These changes have significantly decreased the amount of HNT being created each day, minting only 66,000 yesterday, far fewer than the nearly 90,000 created just a few days prior to the updates. These changes have caused a lot of noise throughout the community, leaving some people furious that changes as significant as these were not voted on, while Amir Helium defends the actions taken on Reddit. Amir makes it clear that these changes are critical if we want the blockchain and network to continue working properly and not face another blockchain outage. Others in the community, including myself, can understand why these changes have to be made, as the degradation in the performance of certain hotspots and constant syncing that is taking place has already taken its toll on miner rewards. A lot to cover here. Let's take a closer look in today's video. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video here on the Crypto Compound channel. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope you're having a great day. Please hit that like and subscribe on the way in. It really helps support the channel. In today's video, we're going to be discussing some major chain variable updates that were just released at the end of January that are going to have a major impact on the network. They are already having a major impact on the network. You may or may not have noticed. However, a lot fewer HNT is being created per day, and you can expect to see fewer rewards as a result. These changes are rather technical. We are going to go through all of them today. We will also take a look at some of the displeasure here about this update on Reddit, as well as Amir Helium's direct response in the Reddit comments. And of course, all of these changes can be seen right here in the last 4 or 5 days of decreased HNT being created per day. Guys, before we jump into today's video, I did want to take a second and recognize CMH3 Studio here on Twitter. They are the people behind HeliumMinorArt.com. What they do is they create unique one-of-one Helium Minor Art NFTs for different hotspot names. They reached out to me a few days ago, offered to send me one of these for free. They sent it to me. It is my inaugural, my first NFT I've ever owned. I'll put it up here on the screen so you guys can see. I just wanted to recognize them because I want to support everybody that is in the Helium community thinking of new, innovative ways of contributing to the Helium community. Of course, we have people making content. We have people manufacturing hotspots, manufacturing accessories, hardware, antennas, people contributing and providing valuable information in Discords. There are so many different ways to contribute to the Helium network, and this is another very unique, very cool way of contributing to the Helium network. Now, I asked them to create an NFT based on the Crypto Compound YouTube channel and the Helium network, sort of a combination of those two things. However, they're specialized in creating unique NFTs based on Helium miner names. Really, really cool. I just wanted to shout them out and let you guys know they're here and the type of service they provide. They have this website here, HeliumMinorArt.com. I'll link it down below so you guys can come take a look. They have a lot of drafts here, a lot of past work they have done. There's a lot of information here on the website of the type of service they provide. And of course, you can also include, if you want, the referral code here, Crypto Compound. If you do want to reach out to them for any work, it would be really appreciated to let them know that we sent you. But really cool idea. You guys can come check it out. A lot of very interesting things. And of course, the unique is one of one and unique to your very own Helium miner. Now guys, for today's video, we're going to get into the details of what has changed and how it is impacting people's earnings network wide. Of course, we can see here that the network is really experiencing a significant decrease in HNT being created since this update 4 days ago, January 28th. Previously, we were creating close to 90,000 HNT per day. Just yesterday, barely 66,000. That is a tremendous decrease. As we can see here, HNT, average HNT earnings per hotspot is also very low. And as of 4 days ago, January 28th, it did decrease about 0.01 HNT as a result. And we also can see more and more hotspots being added to the network each day. Now, I want to preface all of this information by saying there are two very different types of reactions to this news. There are some people whose hotspots are working perfectly, mining very well, earning very well, and have had very little interruption in their earnings. Now, there are other people, including myself, who own hotspots that have continuously fallen out of sync. As we know, guys, there are over 500,000 hotspots online, so there are so many different nuances and variables that are taking place that are impacting people differently. However, some people's hotspots are falling offline and needing to constantly resync after only 5 or 6 days. Now, my main hotspot that I've had since approximately September has been one of those hotspots. It has continuously fallen out of sync. I've continuously had to repower it, reboot it. As a result, of course, it is going a few days at a time, earning 0 HNT. So when I read all of this information and they go through the changes that are being made and why they are being made, I can almost understand it because I've been experiencing my hotspot coming offline almost every week, which should not be happening. I do also want to mention that I've had this hotspot since about September, and there were really no issues until about mid-December. It stayed completely online with no issues in connectivity or earnings for all of that time, and just recently, or sometime around early to mid-December, it began falling offline and falling out of sync. Now, with this update and these changes they are making, they're saying that they're doing this to give the developers a chance to really work out the problems that the network is experiencing. As you can see here, they say over the last few weeks, we've received several reports that hotspot owners are experiencing slower onboarding, routers are experiencing delays in opening and closing state channels, and HNT holders are experiencing long clearing times for transferring their HNT between wallets. Now, they go on to further explain that all of these changes mentioned above will make transactions cheaper to process and smaller to store, as well as allowing more room for non-proof of coverage transactions on the blockchain. This should allow building transaction queues to clear more smoothly and allow core developers to focus efforts towards new features like light hotspots and a technical rework of the reward system that is part of a longer-term fix. Now, of course, this update here has sparked some frustration here over on Reddit. As you can see, somebody saying, "What did we do to deserve this?" They are referring here to the decrease in beaconing frequency and the max witnesses per beacon also being reduced, ultimately reducing in lower HNT rewards. Now, there is a lot of information here. Most notably, of course, down here is Amir Helium, the CEO of the Helium network. He comments here directly as he normally does, and he makes a few very interesting points. He says, "I don't disagree, but the current reality is that until we're able to improve transaction performance, these kinds of changes are necessary for the network to keep functioning. Reducing the frequency of proof of coverage reduces the number of transactions per block, which allows validators to process blocks more quickly. If we don't do this, the result would be that less hotspots can sync to the chain, HNT transfers would take longer or never occur, and total HNT emission targets would continue to be missed." Now, of course, I have been experiencing some of this because my hotspots are falling offline and taking days and weeks to get back to sync and then falling offline again. So I can relate to the fact that what he's saying is true, and it is certainly an issue for myself, and I know that it is an issue for other hotspot owners because I see those messages and those issues coming up on Reddit threads, in Discords, and stuff like that. Amir continues on to say, "Eventually this would keep getting worse and probably lead to a chain halting. The vote would essentially be, do you want the network to keep running?" So what he's saying here is that they have no choice but to make these updates so that they can rework and upgrade and correct how the network is functioning from a technical perspective. All this being said, it sounds to me like the Helium network needs to hire about 1,000 more developers. For whatever reason, it seems as though they are understaffed. And I don't know why, with all the resources that they must have at their fingertips, why they aren't hiring a boatload of new developers to come and help build out this network at a faster rate of speed. Now, he does continue to say that these changes to the network allow for the network to keep running while they make these improvements. You can see he says these changes will allow the network to keep running while we make these fixes. Reducing the proof of coverage intervals like this shouldn't affect rewards if looked at over long periods of time, but most definitely will cause higher volatility and short-term variance. So he's saying, of course, as I do encourage people to look at Helium mining and the Helium network in general, he's saying to zoom out and think of this down the road from a long-term perspective, not look at it from a day-to-day mining earnings perspective. And I do agree with that. Now, there are a lot of mixed reactions here on Reddit alone. You could see one here being, "If they did give us an opportunity to vote, I would probably vote for this because I want the network to flourish over time. The better this thing operates, the more long-term we can earn. I'm totally willing to make concessions if it strengthens the integrity, speed, and scalability of the network. I do agree with what this person here is saying. These kinds of changes and hiccups are necessary, and if this needs to happen in order for the network to be improved, then I fully do support it. Of course, I'm not going to enjoy earning less HNT per day, but from a long-term perspective, it should be worth it. And of course, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I am one of the people who has been having issues syncing with the network, having my hotspot kicked offline, all of those sorts of things. So I do recognize that these types of improvements are certainly necessary. Guys, let me know what you are experiencing, what you are thinking in the comments down below. Of course, these changes are extremely significant, and many would argue that they should have been voted on, but it sounds as if they were absolutely critical in order for the network to keep performing as it should. That is all I have for today's video. Thank you guys so much for being here and watching until the end. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Please hit that like and subscribe if you have not already, but just like that, this video is over, and I'll see you next time.